decide to stay and do another one.
I did.
Because you
want
to.
Smells good in here.
It is. So when I was watching you do the last dish, it got me this really good idea. Years ago, as you know, I used to do barbecue. I was a finalist to go on MasterChef, which is really cool.
That's cool.
My son was only 2 years old at the time, and I was actually staying home with him. My wife went back to work. I was staying home with him. I'd have a 3-month commitment, so I had to drop out. I was actually going to get to be on the show. But there was one dish that cemented it for me, and I'm kind of famous for this dish. Like, famous, like, in my family.
Kind of a big deal.
In my family for this dish. It was a barbecue pasta dish, which is kind of weird. Like, you would never think of pasta as a barbecue dish, right? But I've always done barbecue pasta like for big groups and families and stuff. I thought it'd be really fun for us to attempt a version of that dish done completely vegan, completely plant-based, and I thought you'd be the perfect person to help me with it.
Cool.
So let's try it.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to show people multiple recipes here. Though we're going to show them first how to make like a vegan Parmesan, which I think it's a really easy thing to do.
Yeah.
But a lot of people say they miss cheese. This is one of the ways you can literally sprinkle vegan. You can buy it in like things like this at like King Super, but I don't think it's as good. We're going to use like nutritional yeast and some other stuff. So let's do that. I'm going to have you run the food processor and that, and we're going to start with the vegan Parmesan cheese. But while you do that, I'm going to take just regular tempeh. Do you like tempeh?
I do.
So I'm going to start a regular tempeh. I normally make my own. The store-bought one is all soy, and I like it, but I make it out of black beans usually.
Oh,
so I make my tempeh
cool.
from scratch, usually either black beans or garbanzo. But this is next best thing. It's so easy. So I'm going to start on this, and I'm actually going to deglaze this. Since we're not smoking today, I'm going to deglaze this in the pan and get it kind of going. And then I'm going to let you do the Parmesan. We're not really starting out using a recipe, but we kind of know what we're doing.
Do we ever?
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of laid out the ingredients here. We're going to use cashews in the actual base of the recipe that we're going to do.
Yeah.
But the Parmesan is going to be completely nut-free. So it's going to have pumpkin seeds in it. But there we go.
Perfect.
So you do that. I'm going to start on this. And this is going to be fun.
It is.
Have you done a barbecue dish before, an actual barbecue dish?
No, I can't say that I have.
Okay.
The closest I do to barbecue is pouring your sauce on some jackfruit.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And I suggest everybody at home do the same. Because if you do pour my barbecue sauce over jackfruit, it goes to an amazing cause. I don't take a dime of any of the money I make off Fool's Gold or any of that. It all gets donated to my nonprofit called Nick's Thing Smokin', which we help. We've raised over $3 million already.
That's great.
And we help. We're trying to fight childhood obesity. That's what we're doing. Got a couple.
Say that's a good cause.
Yeah, and so if you buy a bottle of barbecue sauce or one of my books, or you click on an ad on this or whatever, it all goes to a really good cause. So I'm going to take this tempeh here. As you can see, Lauren knows exactly what she's doing.
Oh, yes.
So I'm going to cut up this tempeh just like this, and I'm going to start this on a pan, like so. And Lauren, normally, what I would do with tempeh, just because you haven't seen me do like plant-based barbecue from scratch.
Yeah.
Normally what I would do is if I'm using a store-bought tempeh, is I would like steam that for about 10 minutes. And they make
like bitter taste.
Yeah, yeah. So, but since it's going to be in a dish and with so much stuff, other stuff on it, I'm not going to worry about it. But the best way to do tempeh for any dish, it doesn't be barbecue, is kind of steam it for about 10 minutes first.
Okay.
It gets that kind of bitterness like you're talking about off of it. But since then after I do that, then I smoke it. So I'll put it in a smoker, like a range top smoker or one of my regular smokers, for like 30 minutes. And it makes almost a brisket. Like it's a tempeh brisket. Like you put barbecue rub on it, smoke it. It puts a really good smoky flavor in it.
Yeah.
And then that could be a base for salads, pizzas, burritos, almost anything.
Yeah.
So it's really high in protein. But since we're not using a smoker today, since we just thought of it, I'm going to use, and I know you have a little bit of experience with this, we make these smoked salt flakes. And so if you can't smoke your food, the next best thing is to artificially smoke it. And the way you don't want to artificially smoke food is liquid smoke. It's like a lot of people use liquid smoke. It's one of the worst. I mean, it's vegan, it's plant-based, but it's literally one of the worst things you can put in your body.
Sure.
And we really try to teach people to try to put that smoke flavor in their food without using liquid smoke by either wood or by this smoked salt.
Yeah.
So, and you've
Those
tried
are
smoked
great.
salt,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start this, and I'm going to, instead of, to do a modified version of smoking, I'm going to use some smoked salt, and I'm going to take some of our barbecue sauce, and I'm going to use like a deglaze technique like you would use for wine, but I'm going to do it with barbecue sauce. So I don't know how it's going to work out.
Let's see.
So, okay. So what are you doing over here?
Well, I was going to turn this on, and then I wasn't sure
That's probably
if
a good first step.
I knew how.
Oh, it's kind of weird. This is like this.
Well, it's not plugged in either.
Okay, so plug it in first, and then step 1, plug it in.
Perfect.
Step 2 is
Just press this down?
Yep, that's it.
All right.
All right. So you start that, and I'm going to start this, and we're going to see how this all turns out. A lot of people, this is kind of not the best for cleanup, Lauren, because I'm really going to get this down to where it like almost starts caramelizing. I don't use a lot of sugar
Ooh, that looks good.
in my barbecue sauce, but start to smell that already. You were talking about pouring barbecue sauce into jackfruit.
Yeah.
This is kind of the lowest common denominator of plant-based barbecue. This is how a lot of people do it, and there's nothing wrong with this for like a fast meal. The key is going to be like what we do with it once it starts caramelizing. It's going to almost start like blackening. It's almost like a blackening. It's going to be good. So we're going to get that going, and then we're going to build the entire dish right in here. That smells really. That looks like Parmesan cheese.
It does.
Right? I mean, how hard was that? Would it take you like a minute?
Super easy.
All right, so let's taste. Pour me a little bit. All right, let's taste this and see. Let me just put it over here.
For people at home, you got to stop once it reaches about this point, or else you're going to make like seed butter or like peanut butter.
All right. It needs some salt.
Okay.
Or something. Yeah, so maybe some, or did you put garlic powder in it already?
I put garlic
maybe
powder
a little
in it,
bit more garlic powder.
Okay.
And maybe a little salt.
Okay.
But it's the perfect consistency. What she was saying is so important. Yeah. And we might, and even right now, maybe we yeah, if you don't want to pulse it anymore, we can just stir it.
We'll just shake it around.
Yeah. For that exact reason, because it's the perfect consistency right now.
Yeah. Got all the big chunks out.
Look at that. See how that's starting to caramelize?
Ooh, that looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we want. All right, let me taste it now. You want to taste it?
Of course.
All right.
That's good.
That's Parmesan cheese.
I would put that on most things.
I put that like on, I'm wearing thongs. I think I would put that on a thong and eat that. That's so good.
I've never heard it put that way,
I
but
know.
I like it. I like it.
But how easy was that? So that's like right there, Parmesan cheese. So
Yeah.
don't gripe about not being able to have cheese if you're going plant-based or vegan, right?
Yeah.
And we did that from Kroger. It was like, what was that, 3 ingredients?
Yeah.
So perfect. All right, now let's make the, let's start on the sauce.
Okay.
This is going to be interesting. This is going to have nuts in it. We're going to do cashews to start
Cashews.
with.
Okay.
Do you like to soak your cashews normally? Like I know you know how to make cheese. I know our cameraman Ken, he likes to make vegan cheese sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you like to go nut-based, or do you just use nutritional yeast, or what?
I use nutritional yeast, but I make a lot of stuff with cashews and pumpkin seeds.
Yeah.
So yeah, both of these are really good.
So I think I'm going to use this one I'm going to use cashews with it, but the important thing to know is if you do have a nut allergy, I think this dish will be just as good whether or not we used it. I just
Sure.
want to kind of give it that thickness,
Yeah.
that creaminess. So I think we'll use cashews this time. So I'm thinking like about a cup of cashews or
Yeah,
so.
that
I'm
looks
just going to
about
hand
right.
everything. You want me to drain these first?
Sure.
I'm going to drain them in these noodles because we're going to use it in the same dish anyway, so it doesn't matter. So let me wash my hands real quick. And what else are we going to put in there? We're going to put in there.
Some Italian herbs.
Okay, that's going to be fun. Let's do that last because I got a surprise for you on that.
Okay. Oh,
Yes.
Sometimes I like surprises.
Okay, I think you'll like it.
Coconut milk, nutritional yeast,
Okay.
salt, pepper.
How about a cup? Let's do, I was thinking about doing 2 cups of coconut milk, but let's only do a cup of coconut milk
Okay.
in that. So let's do, and all I have is this kind right now.
Works for me.
You don't have to measure it, just pour some in.
I wasn't going to.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
The nice thing though is that the Vitamix will usually tell you
Yes.
about how much, so
Okay, there you go.
good for lazy chefs like me.
And me. Hey, we may be lazy, but I think everybody would probably argue with us because if you could smell it in here right now, Woo!
Pretty good. So how long did you soak these cashews for?
I soaked them for like 2 hours.
Okay.
A lot of times, I think with the Vitamix, you don't have to soak your cashews with the Vitamix,
Yeah.
but I soak them. And sometimes if I'm doing a pasta dish, I might boil them too. I like them boiled a little bit sometimes, but I soaked them for about 2 hours.
Okay.
Do some nutritional yeast.
Okay.
And then
Anything else at the moment?
I think what I want to do is I want to put about a half a cup barbecue sauce.
Okay.
Fool's Gold barbecue. This will not work with any other kind of barbecue sauce. No, you can buy whatever kind of barbecue sauce you want.
No, you cannot.
But the idea we're going here is for like kind of a barbecue Alfredo. So let's give that a
Okay.
thing. Look at that. That's just cooking perfectly. Yes. That looks pretty
All right.
good.
It's pretty
What do you think on
smooth
thickness?
in there. It's
Because I'm
actually
kind of going to
pretty
use it for a
thick.
pasta sauce, so.
I think it's pretty thick.
All right, so the next thing I want to do now with that is I want to mix the Parmesan, about half of it, with that.
Okay.
So now we're going to try to kind of cheese it up a little bit,
'Kay.
right? So let's mix about half that in there. It's also going to season it now too, right? So we're not putting too much, we're not having to season everything all at once. So we'll put about half of that in, there you go.
Okay.
And then let's put a little bit more barbecue sauce in it because I want to make it a little bit darker than that, so about like that. Let's try that, pulse that up a little bit more. Oh yeah, now it's starting to get there.
That's good.
Starting to get there now. All right, now all we need in there is some herbs. It needs fresh herbs.
Okay.
So I'm going to turn this down real quick, and we're going to turn this on low. Look at that, Lauren. See how that's starting to
Ooh,
black up right there? Look at that.
looks so good.
It's like chunks of goodness. So when I was making this dish before, I used pulled pork.
Yeah.
And so we would smoke the pork, and then you just take the pork and you start it just like this. But notice how it's like all soaked up in there.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to turn it on low, and then I'm going to turn it back up to more to high heat. And you can do this. This is the same base recipe you could use for Alfredo sauce. You could do this with pesto. You could do it with macaroni and cheese. You could do basically any dish that you're trying to do, like something like a creamy sauce, pasta, whatever. This is the same technique we could use, right?
Yeah.
See how we made our kind of cheeses and we layered it. And then in the end, we're going to put some peppers, like maybe some Daiya cheese or something in there. And we're just going to make it like amazingly creamy. So what I'm going to do is down to about here, and notice how the pan's starting to glaze right there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pour a little bit more sauce in it. I'm turning the heat up, and then I'm going to like glaze it out again.
Okay.
And then I'm going to scrape the bottom of that, and then we're going to build our pasta dish right on
Yum.
top. But first, before we do that, we're going to go on a little road trip. I have a surprise for you.
Okay.
So we're going to go this way. And I know you've seen this, but I know one thing you haven't seen yet. So obviously this view, the Rockies
Hey.
are playing tonight. But I got something cool. Look right behind you. I got one of
Oh.
the mirror things.
Look at that.
Have you seen those before?
No.
So we won't show it on video, but you turn it on. There's actually it does like 1,000 different exercises. They have yoga, Pilates. You can actually see yourself, and then a person shows up to teach you in there too. So we'll
So
have
you're
to.
never really alone.
No, so they go up and they're like, "Hi, I'm Armand. Today we're gonna do yoga." And it like starts like I haven't installed it yet, but that's what it does. It's like a really cool thing.
That's
And
really
it plays
cool.
music for you and stuff. So that's cool. But what we're gonna do is we still need something for our dish. What was it? I forgot.
Herbs.
Herbs.
Yep.
Okay, herbs. So we're gonna go this way. And Jenny and I started on 86 acres when we first got married. We lived on a farm, 86 acres, and we've been downsizing since. And now we're in our apartment that you can see in downtown Denver. And
Very
there's
cool.
my herb garden.
Hey, look at that. I see
So-
some basil in there.
Yeah, so I thought what we could do is you pick your favorite,
Okay.
I'll pick my favorite, and let's finish our dish.
Okay.
I'll let you go first.
I'm a basil fan. What else we got going on?
So
in
we
there?
have this. This is I think it's Japanese basil maybe.
Okay.
Or Thai basil. Thai basil, regular basil. Some oregano right there. I think on the other side, I think I have more basil there. Thyme.
Cool. All right.
What do you think?
I'm gonna take some of this.
Okay.
How much do
This
you
is
think
so
we need?
fun. This is so easy to do. You know, every Father's Day, my wife and son just do these little things for me. It costs you like $20 to make this whole herb garden.
That's cool.
It's like so easy. I'm gonna actually get some of this basil over here for us. So we got it. So that's, now that you've seen the whole setup, like I have my little herb garden, my little workout thing, and our kitchen. So
You got
that's
everything
like our
you
little,
need.
Yep. So let's roll back, and I'm gonna let you do the herbs, and let's go ahead and add it to the sauce.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna get ready for the big finale here of what we're gonna do. So
Okay.
I'm gonna turn this back up to high. And then I'm gonna add a little bit more barbecue sauce.
Smells really good.
By the way, just came out with a new sauce, Palisade Peach.
Ooh.
I got 50 cases of Palisade Peaches in, and I was able to make a Palisade Peach. So I'm gonna add a little bit of that to the mix
Okay.
to finish this off. Kind of like wine, right? Wine's made of fruit, like fruit, so I'm gonna do a fruit barbecue sauce to do the deglazing of the pan.
Makes sense.
I know. It sounded good.
Why not? That is the question.
Yes. So I'm going to pour that in. And again, using a traditional technique here of deglazing, which anybody who cooks or watch cooking shows, this is a pretty common technique that you use with wine or with other things. Really good. I need a little bit more barbecue sauce
Okay.
for my liking. For
I
what I'm
think
going
that's-
for. You want to
I'll
taste it the
always
way it
use
is though, because that's the start of our actual Alfredo.
Yeah.
It's good like it is. It just needs some herbs and some other stuff maybe, but it's
When
getting
in
there.
doubt, add more barbecue sauce.
Exactly. See? That's why I love barbecue.
There you go.
Good start though.
That's really
It's
good.
getting there. Do you think a little bit more
It's
Parmesan?
really good.
You think it's good?
I think it's perfect.
I think it's pretty
actually.
good.
Yeah.
I'm going to pour a little bit more barbecue sauce in it only for now because I know what I'm doing. Not much. I know what I'm, like that final what I'm going
There's like
for.
a little like spiciness afterwards.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
That's really good though.
It's really good.
Okay, so let's do that a little bit more. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna get you a spatula, Lauren, and we're gonna finish this whole dish together.
Okay.
So we're gonna go over to the counter over here. This is exactly the way I want it to look. So see how that looks like, almost like,
A little bubbly.
yeah, like, I mean, that's a
Caramely.
traditional French technique, right?
That's good.
So we're going to take that, which kind of sounds funny when we're applying it to barbecue, right? So, did you know barbecue started in the Caribbean?
No.
It did.
Really?
Yeah, barbecue started in the Caribbean. So we're going to take this, and now I'm going to scrape this whole pan
Okay.
like this, and see those chunks of kind of, they almost look like chunks of like burn-ins, kind of. I'm going to chunk that. And again, you could be done with this right now and use this on nachos, burritos,
Just say it would look
whatever.
good. Like, yeah.
I chose to make it smaller. You could do it in strips and stuff too if you wanted to. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to turn the heat down just a little bit. And we have your sauce that you made, and I also have, these are like some fajita peppers that I made the other day.
Yeah.
And a little bit of Daya cheese, like the Daya cheddar.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put that in. We're going to make it hot, and I'm going to try to melt all this down in it, and then we're going to serve it over pasta.
Cool.
So let's start
Yeah.
with yours.
You want this all
Yeah.
of this? Okay.
Yeah, let's put all of it in there. So we're going to put that sauce in there. It's gonna be delicious. Give that a good mix up. Yeah, that's like perfect. That's good. That's probably enough.
Good to the last drop.
Ken will lick the rest of that. We're going to mix that up good. Like so, and that's exactly what you want to see. See how it's kind of starting to turn that orangish color?
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're looking for. It almost has a
It does.
hummus-ish.
There was a hummus crayon.
A
that would
hummus,
be
yeah,
it.
yeah. So we're gonna put that in there like that. And then we're gonna take our peppers. I think there's some mushrooms,
Oh, yeah.
some bell peppers and stuff like, but you can put anything in this, like anything you like. you can put in this. Anything you have left over, you can put in this. And we're going to try to get that, that Daiya cheese to melt in a little bit. And then, can you guess why we reserved a little bit of the Parmesan?
We're going to do some topping.
Yes. So we're going to stir that up good. I think a little bit more coconut milk.
Okay.
Just to kind of give it a little creaminess. Do we have any more there? And you can do this however you like it. If you like your pasta like really thick or whatever, I like mine just a little thinner.
Okay.
So we're going to do coconut milk for this. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Just give that a little stir. It looks like my pulled pork dish that I did for MasterChef.
Look at that.
It really has that look of that. That's looking really good. Okay. I'm going to let you just kind of stir, keep that stirring just a little bit. Okay. I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit on it. Just kind of keep it stirring a little bit just so it doesn't the milk doesn't get all, it doesn't stick. Okay. So, and then I'm going to start getting our pasta ready. And what I like to do you like your pasta mixed into your sauce or do you like it poured over?
Ooh, either way.
Okay, because I love to mix my pasta in the actual sauce. A lot of people don't, but I liked it that way.
No, I like it.
So now I'm going to come over your shoulder and I'm going to actually put some pasta in there too, okay? So we're going to go a little pasta in there. We're going to get that going. And I'm going to do a little bit, just a little bit, not much. We haven't used any oil yet, right?
No.
So I'm just going to put like literally, and notice at the very end, like hardly anybody puts stuff on at the very end. I'm just going to put a tiny, tiny bit just to kind of get that pasta working a little bit.
Yeah.
I would normally do this with penne pasta, but since you did a dish with the spaghetti pasta, I was like, we're just going to use spaghetti pasta instead. So that's it. All right. And then let me just, I think we need a new tool here.
Might need a new tool.
I think that this is going to be the tool. So here we go. We're going to work that in. That smells really good. So let's do a little bit of pasta. And you like all the vegetables, right?
I like all the vegetables.
Let's get you a good, and you like the tempeh. Remember there's tempeh in there too.
I do, yeah, I kind of forgot it was in there.
Yeah, because that's why I did it so small, because I wanted to have kind of that, I guess it wasn't ragu, it'd be more like bolognese.
Yeah.
But the ragu, because the vegetables are kind of bigger. Like, I think there's some forks. Yep, you got one. Let's see what you think. Ken, you'll get your plate here in a minute.
Here's your fork.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, right.
A little bit of Parmesan over the top.
Look at that.
I mean, I feel like we're at
This is very fancy.
a barbecue Italian, but you'd think it would be Italian, right?
Yeah.
But it's weird. It's not going to be Italian. It's going to be... All right.
Yum. That was really good.
That is good.
Like my kids would eat that.
High five.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome, isn't it? Barbecue, pasta, spaghetti, something. I don't even know what we just made, but that is crazy, right? Bolognese. But it's barbecue bolognese. So there you go, Lauren. So that's my spin on your dish.
I love it.
So we'll see you on the next video.